Nitro from Club
and DJ
Lavella for the third straight year. If I recall correctly, the first 2 years were awesome. Then it's off a cliff.
Monday Nitro number 184, March 22nd, 1999.
I'm going to let you go for just like a second before I really unleash on this show. Because I'm fixing to.
Get a good running start.
Yeah, just go for a little while, then I'm going to get in there.
So they showed clips from Uncensored, which is 2 weeks ago now, of Chastity turning on her brother Raven to help Hack win a three-way that also included Bam Bam Bigelow. So it's spring break. It's a bunch of young people who've been stressing out about school, going to the beach to break loose, and you go to Club Lavella and you are rewarded with Bull Payne versus Van Hammer.
How the fuck hard is this? How many fucking Nitros in a row have we watched as they steadily decline where the goddamn show opens with a shitty match?
Go, Brian.
Is this that hard?
Go.
Not only do we start with a fucking terrible match here on the show, but
Preach.
there was a boring chant 6 minutes and 10 seconds into the show.
Dude, they were boring. Oh, into the show. I thought you were going to say into the match.
That has to be a fucking record.
They were boring chants 20 seconds into the match.
A wrestling show at, I might add, Club Lavella. 6 minutes and 10 seconds into the show, the fans were chanting boring.
Yeah.
You know what the greatest part of this is?
I'm not quite done, but go ahead.
If I may.
Go ahead.
They're running unopposed.
Yes.
There's nothing on the other channel. There's no other wrestling on
Yes.
right now.
Yes.
And this is what they present.
Yes, because they're fucking morons. Because they thought we're unopposed, and so people are just going to watch whatever. Wrong.
Nothing to hook them in for 3 hours.
Not only that, like, if you go to a Nitro show in Atlanta, GA, or the Carolinas, you got a bunch of wrestling fans showing up. Fine, give them Hammer versus Bull Payne. They just want to see some fucking wrestling. This is Club Lavella in front of, as Vinny noted, not wrestling fans. You can't trot out like one fucking star to open up the show.
And Van Hammer. That's a star.
And it's not even like it was two nobodies having a good match.
No.
This match fucking sucked. Now, I will say, there were 2 stars later in the show that had a way worse match than this.
It's true.
So maybe I'm wrong, but this was far below the level of indies that we worked on in 1999. It would have been fucking disgraceful on an indie show today.
Yes.
And here it was opening up a national wrestling television show. And it went forever.
It did go forever. So,
I didn't even need to write a book. There's no mystery here why they went out of business.
It really writes itself.
Just watch the fucking TV show. It's patently obvious. They did everything wrong. Go ahead. Talk about this shitty match.
So had I been one of those students stressing out about college and going to the beach to relax, and they trot out Van Hammer and Bull Payne, I'd have immediately left and gone back to school. Back to the dorms.
You wouldn't have gone back there to hang out with Jim Ross.
Well, we'll get to Jim Ross in that college party. So, yes, aside from when they began to tease me into the pool, everything about this sucked, and got no reaction. 2 big, clumsy oafs lumbering around, bucking into each other. And then, as I wrote here, Hammer won with some kind of move.
Well, he did the, whatever he called it.
He did Cobra
Clutch Slam. And then they said, and like, he starts doing something like he's, I don't know.
Plotting?
Messing with acid.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, he's got these little papers.
Putting it on his tongue?
He's doing something. He's like going,
He's rolling papers like he's going to smoke a J.
Whatever the fuck. No, because the finishing move is called the flashback.
Yes.
So I guarantee this was something to do with psychedelics that he was doing. I don't do any, but I do know.
If you do, we do have cameras.
From
You've
when
never smoked weed, have you?
No, I haven't. From when I was a child.
I haven't either.
When I was a child, they used to have the stories of LSD on lick and stick tattoos. So I know that like licking is involved.
So what you know about acid, you learned from Dare to Keep Kids Off Drugs.
Basically, yeah.
Okay.
And it was a bullshit story on top of that. Anyway.
It's just a little stick of paper you put on your tongue and it dissolves.
He hits the fucking flashback after going like this or whatever.
Which sounds more fun than I realized.
And then he hits the fucking worst Alabama slam. How can you not do an Alabama slam?
Are you sure that's what it was?
No. He put the guy over his shoulder and he just slammed him.
That's the flashback.
Yeah, but Alabama Slam doesn't go over your shoulder.
I know.
Yeah.
He sucks.
He sucks bad.
This match was terrible.
Let me
I
write
didn't
that
like
down.
it. I'm ready for a new show now.
Already?
Clips of Rey Mysterio and Kidman from last week, and then Ricky Rackman interviewed Rey Mysterio. I hope you were all big fans of Ricky Rackman because he's all over this show. So he's out there.
Yeah, and then
He's
cock block us.
He's Carson
Steal
Daly
a
with
term
tattoos is what he is.
later.
He's just this TV dweeb out there. And here's Ray, no mask, looks 9 years old. He got his dad's baseball shirt on and a beanie. Could they have made him look like a bigger dork? Ricky Rackman's towering over him. It's Ricky Rackman.
What are you going to get? Like a little person? Who
Don't
the
put
fuck's
it-
going to interview Ray that doesn't tower over him?
Don't make it so obvious. Somehow.
How? Have him in the pool?
I'm sure
Putting
there's
the mic out like this while Ray's on land?
something.
The fuck do you want to do? He's tiny.
Well, I don't want Ricky Rackman on TV at all. So, yes, Ray is a tiny, tiny person. He talks about partying all week and says he will give Kidman another shot at the title at Spring Stampede.
Ray was at the old cutoff line for minis.
Yeah?
So, like, you're not going to find a shorter announcer.
Clips of the Miss Nitro contest. Lots of young women in bikinis at the beach. Historically proven to be a ratings winner.
Except it wasn't, because it's WCW.
Yeah. Ricky Rackman's back. Interviewing Disco Inferno. Ricky Rackman accused Disco Inferno of being unfunny.
Yeah.
Pot, kettle.
Well, it's untrue as well.
Yeah.
Not just pot kettle, but it's factually incorrect.
Disco, I'm paraphrasing, but Disco said, I'm going to steal a Yakov Smirnoff joke. He delivered a Yakov Smirnoff joke. It was funnier than Ricky Rackman.
Yeah. Played his video again.
Play this video again. It's still awesome.
It is.
Craig.
I watched it again.
Yeah.
Yeah, just as good the second time. And you're right. He was trying to actually read the lyrics, except for Oil of Olay.
That's the only one he changed. But
And
it's
he actually
great.
gets through like 2 verses, but then on the 3rd verse, he's just out of here. He's lost.
There's a point where he gets to the end of a verse. It's the first or second one, but he finishes the line, and clearly they did this all in one take, and he did no rehearsing. Because he reads the words, trying to fit it to the rhythm as best he can, and then he realizes he has no idea what he has just said. He just looks up at somebody and shrugs. Like,
Yeah,
what
that's
is
what
this
made
shit?
it awesome.
Yes,
That's the comedy
it
video.
is.
And he challenges Conan to a match at Spring Stampede.
Yes. Tony Schiavone tried to read the sponsor copy, but
And by the way, Craig,
Yeah.
I guarantee you that the video is going to be better than the Conan Disco Inferno match at Spring Stampede.
That I will agree with.
And we were there.
Yeah, we were.
Tony Schiavone tries to read the sponsor copy, but first he's complaining the graphics aren't on screen. And then the graphics finally come up on screen, and then he decides, for no reason, I will read these in the Lee Marshall impression voice.
Sure, why not? You don't care.
Clearly,
Everybody has given up.
he cannot possibly have been sober here. Recap of Scott Steiner turning on Buff Bagwell last week, and then realize they
What
have
in the fuck was this?
realize they have 3 hours to kill, but here's 30 seconds. Fit Finley goes to Rick Steiner's trailer. He says, "Is Rick here?" And Rick's assistant Raid or whatever says, "Yes." And Rick appears. He's got a beer. And Finley says, "Okay, I wanted to make sure you were here. We have a match later." Rick says, "Yep, see you out there."
I know,
That's it.
I know it's not what you make, it's what you save. Was it supposed to be like his house or just like his trailer on the lot?
I assume it's trailer on the lot.
Okay.
You thought this was the Steiner?
I don't know. I could not figure out what the fuck was going on. I thought he went to his house. Like, what are you going to his house for? To challenge him to a match at Club La Vela?
Okay, that's funnier. I wish it had been his house.
That's what I was thinking it was. I was like, this guy's got to be like a multi-millionaire today. Living in a trailer during his big
on Nitro.
money-making years. Yeah.
If that's
Like
the
Jeff
case,
Hardy.
if that's the case, he should have gone out to check his mail and then bumped into Finley there.
Should
That
have.
would have been better. Recap of the Flair, Goldberg, Nash, Hogan kerfluffle from last week. And then, swear to God, Ricky Rackman was back. This show was not a half hour old. His 3rd appearance. So he's narrating clips of Goldberg doing an appearance at a NASCAR race when Hack interrupts. He demands to be referred to as Hack, Hardcore Hack, the King of Extreme. He called out Goldberg, whacked himself with a stick to prove how hardcore he was. Then he left, and Ricky just kept on talking about how great Goldberg is. We know, Ricky. We've been watching.
He was wrapped in fake barbed wire, smacked himself in the head with the kendo stick, and made himself bleed.
Yeah.
Because he's wacky.
It was at this point that I wrote, can we get a fucking exciting match, please? And we almost did.
I would
we
say
had a
we
video
did.
package first.
Well, this video pack, a Goldberg hype video. Nothing wrong with this. It just occurred to me they're pushing Goldberg harder now than they did when he was world champion.
Just want to remind everybody, we had a clip of Raven Bigelow hack. We had a horrible match. We had a rape promo, beat shots, a disco promo, a disco video, Fit Finlay going to Rick Steiner's house, another Flair video, an interview with Hack and Chastity, and 60 seconds with Goldberg.
That happened. And then a Lucha match. Yes, Brian, I know it's awful. You're right. I understand the shock, but we got to move on or whenever we get it through.
I can't.
We had La Parca and Damien and Super Calo and Lismark Jr. versus Psychosis, El Dandy, Silver King, and somebody in a Mil Mascaras mask. He had
a flannel and baggy
and plaid flannel
pants.
Pajama pants.
And they said they didn't know who it was, but it couldn't be Mil Mascaras because he wasn't sucking in his gut or dancing on his tiptoes.
Sure.
That made me laugh. They finally said this is La Cucaracha.
La Cucaracha.
Yeah. The cockroach.
Yes, thank you, Craig. You're so learned.
Well, I knew Brian didn't know it because he's Mexican.
Right.
Get out of here.
So the story of the Cucaracha in this match is he gets in there once in a while, he gets his ass kicked on some very simple stuff, and he tags right back out. So essentially, you had 7 luchadors taking turns doing their thing. It was fun. Mm-hmm. You had a fun lucha match.
It was fun, but first off, they're on a floating ring.
Yeah.
And the railing is so goddamn close to the ring apron.
Yes, that's true.
It's like, it's probably like 3 feet that they have to work with. And these fucking luchadors are doing dives into this tiny little area. I don't know how none of them fell into the water. They do this giant train wreck spot to the outside where they all do a dive. They all miss a move off the top rope, crash and burn. Nobody cares. It's deadly silent. And then La Cucaracha suddenly hits a bunch of stunners and wins. Stone Cold
It's La Cucaracha.
is here at Club La Vela.
Amazing.
Now, I had a thought during this match. Since the platform is on water and the ring is on the platform, is it better taking bumps in this ring than one that's on the concrete floor?
Should be.
What?
Well, the water has give.
Yeah.
So why the fuck would it be worse?
No, not worse, better.
Well, the answer is yes, Craig. Why wouldn't it be?
I don't know, I just thought about it.
Wow.
Okay. So yes, La Cucaracha turns to the camera and says, "No comprende."
In all my years covering Club La Vela, had never entered my mind.
Bet you it's a joy to work in that ring.
We have more spring break
Did
clips.
you watch the show? It was not a joy to work in this ring on this
It
night.
was a joy to watch what was going on in the ring.
Then we had a backstage skit,
This was awesome.
which I'll cut to the chase. This is Lucha Underground.
By the way, it's disco, everybody.
Well, yeah.
Couldn't figure it out already. It was not Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Nor Mil Mascaras.
No.
Or Luca Caracha.
So this is one of those skits where we, the viewers at home, see it, but nobody on the show actually sees it. So JJ and Flair are in the parking lot outside Club La Vela talking about spring break and, of course, the women. And Flair says, "Look, I'm the president. I cannot just take myself off the show. So here's what I'm going to do."
He says, I'm so excited. There's these hot college girls everywhere. I owe it to these girls to wrestle here on this show.
That's right. So his plan is, he says, "I'll go out there. I'll challenge everyone on the roster. But we'll draw a name out of a hat. But you just fill that name with mid-card and below," he says.
Mid-card and cruiserweights.
Luchadors and cruiserweights, yes. Just burying everyone. And the plan is he wants to get this match over with as quickly as possible, put on the appearance of, challenging anyone in the company, get it done, and go out and get laid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So really, any other night for Ric Flair, when I think
Sure,
about it.
yeah, basically.
Okay. What was this Mike Tenay interview with Dusty Rhodes?
Allow me. Mike Tenay is on the beach with Dusty Rhodes.
Or a whale.
Dusty
A whale would have been more coherent.
rambles on, and I'll give him this, a very charismatic manner. First off, Mike's trying to ask him some questions about what's going on in WCW. I don't even know, like he's a commissioner now or something. I don't even know why. He goes, "I'm very upset that Larry has taken my spot at the commentary booth. I'm much better doing commentary than Larry." Tenay tries to steer him back to talking about Ric Flair. Dusty says, "I'd be better than you as well, Mike Tenay." Mike tries to steer him back to Ric Flair. Dusty says, "Well, Ric Flair is the president. And I have to say that you caught me off guard with these questions." He starts talking about how great he is again. And he says, Ric Flair, are you cross with me? I can't even do it. Craig?
Are you cross?
Are you cross with me? And then he announces that he's still the bull of the woods.
I'm still the bull of the woods.
What?
If you will.
Is he coming back for a match with Ric Flair in 1999?
That's no.
I don't remember this.
You got more out of this than I did.
What was this?
I don't know.
He spent the entire... He hasn't been on TV in I don't even know how long.
It's a good 6 months.
He's on here thinking it's 1987 Crockett again. He just shows up out of nowhere, talks about how great he is. He's the top guy in this company. He's the bull of the woods still. He'll beat up Ric Flair at any time. He's the best commentator. He's the best at everything. What?
I think somewhere in here he even said he was also the best referee. Referee match between Barry Windham and Dean Malenko, as I understand.
What was this?
I have no idea. Now, on top of that, he finishes. That's all I can say is he finishes. So then Mean Gene brings Flair out to the ring for a promo, but as Flair's making his entrance, the announcers are like, what the hell was Dusty talking about? Larry is angry because he was insulted by Dusty. Tenay just says, he never actually answered my question.
You don't say.
Yeah. So Flair's out there to talk. Raven interrupts Ric Flair. What? Okay. The guy who went shopping at the mall, bought some really, really nice clothes, and then never wore them again. He's just the same guy.
Well, they dropped that angle because they didn't like it.
What?
Great.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Great. So he says, I have never had a world championship match.
Vinny, let's do a recap here. You be Raven, I'll be Flair. I'm in the ring, by the way.
This is always fun.
I'll do my best. I have never had a world championship match.
Is he talking to me?
Yeah.
Flair buries this guy.
Yeah.
Says, fine. You want a championship match, you can wrestle the World Tag Team Champions Benoit and Malenko. Canyon's your partner.
And Raven says, wait, Canyon's out making a movie with Jesse Ventura.
Well, all right, you're wrestling by yourself then against these two men.
Yeah. Raven says, all right, I'll beat them both up, and he leaves. Because Raven's now the big, tough babyface guy.
Thespians, both of you.
Thank you. I only wanted the first part about it, is he talking to me. The rest, I was just not ready for.
I see.
I was like Dusty, I wasn't ready for this.
Yeah.
And I love that Raven wants a match with Ric Flair. Ric Flair says, you can have Benoit and Malenko in a 2-on-1 match instead. Gene goes, sounds like a great opportunity.
How so?
He's sucking out to the boss.
So there you go.
So, yes, and then Flair announces his plans,
His lottery.
his lottery. He chooses his opponent at random, and the announcers had no idea this drawing was going to be rigged. Rick Steiner versus Fit Finlay.
Fun mean guy match.
There we go.
The best thing I said, or the most accurate thing I can say about this is actually something Tony Schiavone said when he simply explained, this is pro wrestling in its purest form.
Yeah.
Fact. It is two big, tough, scary mofos getting into a ring and wailing on each other. That's it. There was not really any story to this. There was not a long heat segment. There was not a comeback. There wasn't really a heel or a babyface or a villain or a hero. It was just two monsters committing carnage and violence. Thumbs up.
Two guys kind of in slow motion punching each other.
It wasn't even it wasn't a great match.
No.
It was pure. This is the purest form of pro wrestling. Rick hit a DDT and the diving bulldog and won. Great.
Yeah. It was good. Best thing on the show.
Probably. El Vampiro versus Juventud Guerrera.
This was not the best thing on the show.
You know, I'm pretty sure. Let's see. I've known Dave since 1998, I believe. 20 years.
Yeah.
In 20 years, I don't think there is one thing that Dave and I disagree on more than the quality of wrestler of Juventud Guerrera. In The Observer, like 2 weeks prior to this, he wrote that Juventud Guerrera is one of the best wrestlers in the entire world.
What?
Yeah.
Excuse me?
No, yeah.
Oh, I thought you were agreeing with him.
No.
Where's
This-
Dave at on Vampiro?
This goddamn match was so... This was the worst match.
Yeah.
Actually, there was a match on Raw that was worse. But this was the worst match on this show.
Yeah.
One of the worst matches of all of 1999. They fucked up every single spot they tried. We got a boring chant again. Hoovy at one point just went for something and just missed.
Yeah.
Let's
Yes.
go to detail. He goes for a springboard something or other. Vampiro moves out of the way, but Hoovy wasn't expecting it. So Hoovy lands on his ass, then jumps up and just hits a Michinoku driver anyway.
Yeah. And that was
Yes.
the finish.
Yeah.
He needed the finish, yeah.
Listen, I know that some people are going to listen to this and go, well, Brian, it's clearly Vampiro's fault.
Vampiro was not good here.
He was also terrible.
Yes.
But listen to me. This would have been Vampiro versus AJ Styles, this would have been 1,000 times better. If this were Vampiro versus Okada, it would have been 1,000 times better.
You don't say.
Vampiro versus Naito,
Okada's
1,000
a
times
better
better.
wrestler than someone?
My
Huh.
point is, if he were actually in there with one of the best wrestlers in the world,
I see.
it would not have been this bad.
Right.
And Hoovy consistently has matches this bad. Every now and then he does have a very good match.
But he's in there with like Ray or something.
Yeah, this just is... He was horrible here.
Both guys were horrible.
They were both terrible.
Yeah.
This match was hideous.
Hoovy was not one of the best wrestlers of the world this night. That is true. So Vampiro did like 19 power bombs. Match went a very, very long time. They tried a top rope power bomb. They fucked it up. Thankfully, nobody died. And then Hoovy just hit another Michinoku driver and won. Sloppy, random, and very, very bad, I wrote. Hey, Ricky Rackman's back. It is time for... He's... All right, let's just get into what happens. He's walking out. He says, I don't know much about professional wrestling. I was going to hire a guy
Yeah.
who goes on record as saying he has no idea what he's talking about. He is there to present the winner of the Miss Nitro pageant. Now, I do not often transcribe things word for word, but I wrote down every single bit of their interview together. Her name is Julie Williams.
Yes, it was.
She comes out in baggy jeans and like a tank top. They begin the promo.
Cute blonde, by the way.
It was just a very lovely young lady. No doubt about that. Ricky starts the promo with their backs to the hard camera. The announcers are openly burying him. Finally, he gets...
Somebody turned him around.
I will go from the start here. Say hello. Hi. Then they turn to face the hard cam. Say hello. Hello. What school are you here from? Chipotle Junior College.
They have a college?
Apparently. And you're pretty excited that you are now Miss Nitro? Yeah. What does it mean to you to be Miss Nitro? It is cool. That was it. That was the whole promo.
Well, you didn't get his other line, which I didn't write down, but basically, the NWO music starts playing, and Ricky starts going on this thing going, now that wherever you go in this country, anywhere in the United States,
Christ.
you can call yourself Miss Nitro.
And get Mexican food.
Get out of here, Craig. Should have
So,
known this would turn to food.
Chipotle.
This was the blind leading the blind. So out come Hulk Hogan, Kevin Nash, and 7
Strippers.
Very-
They were strippers.
Oh, Craig.
Craig, I've
These were not college girls.
been to a
Vince.
gentleman's... Well, I'm sure they're professionals at what they did.
I don't know if they were necessarily supposed to be college girls.
They were models.
Maybe they were working their way through college.
What do you go to spring break for? To blow off steam from college. They should have been looking for college girls. They went to a gentleman's club and got all 7 or 8 girls.
I'm disgusted.
As I was going
with
to
you.
say, I have been to a gentleman's club a time or two in my life and dropped a lot of money in those clubs, and I did not drop that money on women who look like this.
That's on you, brother.
I think they're too hot to be strippers is what I'm saying.
You sure you went to a strip club and not like a dive bar?
Yes.
What state was this in?
Washington and Nevada. Yeah. Although it was that Colombian in Nevada. That was cool. Anyway.
Colombian?
Yeah. Yeah.
Can we get on with this?
So there's these beautiful, beautiful women out there with Hogan and Nash.
They're kind of buckled.
Excuse me?
They were kind of buckled.
Buckled?
Buckled.
I don't understand this term.
Haggard.
Oh, they were not haggard. Get out of
please.
here,
live in
Craig.
Puyallup.
Go back and look at them.
Oh my God. So anyway, there's 7 of them. Fans chant, "Show your tits." Nash says it's too cold. I won't do that.
Yes.
He
That was
says-
the funniest thing Nash has ever said.
I thought there's 8 girls. There's only 7. Let's bring out the 8th girl. Of course, it's Tori Wilson. The highlight of which is she gets her heels stuck in a grate.
Yes.
Instead of taking her shoes off, she's got to be in high heels, so it takes him like a good 30 seconds to get her fucking foot out of the thing. Gets in the ring, strips down. Nash wants Ricky to announce she's the winner. I don't know why Nash can't just announce that she's the winner. He's in the NWO.
He's
it's
a bully.
his fucking contest.
He wants to bully somebody.
He goes, declare her the winner. And Ricky says, listen,
He tried to reason with the man.
I am here for the Miss Nitro contest, okay? I'm only being paid for this, not your damn contest. Nash boots him in the stomach and bends him over, and he's going to give him a powerbomb. And I'm like, you know what, Nash? How about you powerbomb him over the barricade into the water?
Into the pool, yeah.
Then I'll rewrite Death of WCW. I'll be a little more forgiving to you. Instead, he threatens, but then doesn't. And Ricky chooses Tori. At which point, Nash, all the cred that he got for his previous line, throws it out the window by saying, Sable, eat your heart out. Ha 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 ha! And Hogan goes, did you just say that, brother? Like, you guys are idiots. You're fucking idiots. This sucked.
That's one NWO takeover that wasn't too bad, Mike Tenay notes. This is an amazing segment for a variety
Do
of
you
reasons.
know how bad a show has to be where they have a Miss Nitro bikini contest in Club Lavella, and I'm fucking sick of it and want it to end?
It's pretty bad.
Jiminy Christmas. This fucking sucked. But what did not suck was what came next.
Hack versus Goldberg. Everyone stop. Just spend 10 or 15 seconds imagining, if you will, a match between Bill Goldberg and the Sandman.
You got it.
This is exactly what you would expect. I mean that in every possible positive way.
Do you want to know why?
'Cause-
I have come to a conclusion after this show.
All right.
Not only does Goldberg belong in the Hall of Awesome and the Hall of Fame, every Hall of Fame there is, I would go as far as to say that he was a perfect professional wrestler. How could you improve upon Goldberg?
I don't know.
You don't want to be a better worker. No. He's exactly as explosive. He's exactly as out of control, and he's a wild animal.
Yes.
He's the best.
So, I guess this was a hardcore match because Hack was using a
sure was.
chair and a stick, and ref didn't care. And then Goldberg starts no-selling the stick, hits a spear and a jackhammer, and he wins.
Well, Hack's big mistake was he began hitting him repeatedly with the stick.
In the head.
Yeah, and he hit him like 5 times in the head. Goldberg just fired up. Hack tries to give him his side Russian leg sweep.
white
White Russian leg sweep.
Well, with the cane, the white Russian leg sweep. Yep. And Goldberg just fucking stands there. Hack falls down. He like breaks the stick over his leg. He spears the shit out of him. The place just goes nuts. He jackhammers him and wins. And then he like grabs the top rope and he does this thing where he just kind of goes and his traps go up high and this big
Like a
fucking
cat.
thing of drool drops out of his mouth. Just this enormous. Like if you ever watch Finding Bigfoot, they've got every commercial there's a animated Bigfoot. And you see the Bigfoot go, "Arrgh!" And there's like this big thing of drool. That is fucking exactly what Goldberg did here. That's where they got it. It's so great. This is the best thing on the show. By far.
Mean Gene brings Bret Hart out for a promo.
This is pretty good.
Bret notes he has been in the WCW for more than a year now and has not received a title shot.
The WCW.
First thing he did upon entering the company was wipe the floor with Ric Flair. And now Ric Flair is champion. He still can get a title shot. Pointed out he had never wrestled Hogan, even though they were the two biggest stars of all time. He'd fought Kevin Nash many times before. He could beat him again. You may be the pencil, he says, but I could be the eraser. Says Goldberg has no technical skills. Dared him to come face him one time. He could beat Goldberg in 5 minutes.
He could only take this promo back.
Indeed. It was fine.
I liked it.
Horace Hogan versus Vincent.
Dude, in what universe was this not the worst match on the show? This one.
You know what's funny is last week, Horace wrestled Stevie Ray, and some genius in the back goes, that wasn't too bad. Put him out there with Vincent.
Dude, they got to do their story. They got to do their weird storyline with all the shittiest guys. But this was better than that Vampiro Hoovy match.
Yes.
Inconceivable.
It's amazing.
Jiminy.
By my
fucking
calculations, Rock and Mankind was going on the other channel.
I would rather watch that. Yeah, Vincent here was much better than usual, by which I mean he was clearly not the worst wrestler in the entire world.
Yeah.
Did a Japanese arm drag at one point of all things. So Stevie Ray comes out, and Horace and Vincent bonk heads, and Horace is leaning against the ropes, and Stevie goes to push Horace on top of Vincent, but Vincent cradles him for the pin instead. Technical wizard, Vincent. So Stevie attacks Vincent after the match. Brian Adams comes out and joins in. Adams and Stevie are having an argument, and Tony Schiavone notes, some sort of plan went awry here. That's for sure.
Yeah, it was called The Booking.
It's time to draw a number to find Flair's opponent.
Oh my God. So they got the tumbler in the ring, and the story is all of the wrestlers are around ringside to find out if they got the number. But there's only like 8 wrestlers out there. And one of the announcers goes, is that everybody? The other announcer goes, I don't think so. Seems like there's a lot of guys missing.
Yeah.
They don't know what's going on.
20 guys just didn't want to go out.
So here's the most infuriating thing. JJ pulls out number 23. Mm-hmm. 23 is not Rey Mysterio. 23 is El fucking Dandy.
That's right.
But El Dandy has his arm in the sling. Mm-hmm. And so Rey, like a dick kind of, steals his number and goes, I'll take care of this.
That's basically what happened, yeah.
Okay, I could have an amputated arm. I still want that match with Ric Flair.
Well,
that was not very friendly of Rey. And I was upset because I would have liked to have seen Ric Flair versus El Dandy. I bet that would have been awesome.
There's that too. So Rey comes out there. Flair is distressed to see him. You were not supposed to be in there, he says, because his plan was all mid-carders.
You're a champion. You're not in this thing.
Yeah. But says, hey, you're out here now. I dare you to walk out here again in a half hour. So
well, I mean, he did say that, but mostly he and JJ wanted to pick another number, and Gene held them to it. He says, dude, you picked the ball. You got to stick to it. It's Gene Okerlund's. He should be the commissioner. He's handling all the business here.
Had a Benoit Malenko video package set to Bob Holly's theme song. And then we got Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko versus Raven. So they destroyed him, but he wouldn't submit. He is now plucky babyface Raven. So they beat him, and they beat him, and they beat him, and they beat him, and they beat him. Out comes Saturn to make the save. He's got the dress on, he's got makeup on, and first they're just confused about why he's there, but they tell him to leave, and then he fires up, and hey, for this 30 seconds or so he fired up, this was awesome. Suplexes everywhere, just whipping ass.
Tony says, Saturn is now part of this match, I guess.
That is a fact. So he was part of the match. It's a regular tag team match now, and then they cut Saturn off, and they hit 7,000 moves in a row.
How could Benoit and Malenko matches be so fucking boring?
It was incredibly boring. So, about an hour in, Raven gets a hot tag and runs wild. Crowd wakes up. It's a 4-way. Saturn hooks Benoit in the rings of Saturn, but then Raven and Malenko start fighting with the belts. The ref calls for the DQ, so there's no title change. This would have been so much better, if they just said, Raven, Kane's not here, who's your partner? He says, Saturn steps up with volunteers, and they just do a tag match.
You know, Vinny, I'm glad that you determined this was disqualification because they rang the bell. They did not explain what the finish was. Nobody there live had any idea what the finish was. Everybody thought that Saturn had submitted Benoit.
Yeah.
Not to mention Raven was the one that got the hot tag, so he wasn't even the legal man.
No.
Not to mention Raven and Saturn ended up with the tag titles.
This sucked.
Not as champions, but they ended up with them.
Physical possession.
Yes, it was very confusing. They rematched later on Spring Stampede in
Tacoma, Washington. Brian don't care. Clips from Thunder of Flair stripping Scott Hall of the U.S. title for just not showing up. In storyline, that's the reason. So,
keep in mind that the whole legal battle with Flair and Eric Bischoff started when Ric Flair just didn't show up one day.
Yeah.
It's kind of ironic.
Yeah. So they're doing a title for the U.S. tournament, or the U.S. title. A tournament for the U.S. title. And in the first round, Meng has already beaten Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yeah, he goes for the Tongan death grip and Bigelow bumps. So Meng just follows him to the ground and grabs his neck.
Yeah.
Submits him. I like this Meng.
Tell me more.
It is funny, though. I'm just amazed at how, Bigelow, it's one of those things where I had forgotten that Bigelow came in. And then when we actually watched that Nitro where he debuted and he was going after Goldberg and it was so awesome, it's like, how the fuck did I forget this? Now I know! They turned him into just another geek losing to Meng on Thunder.
Yes.
And it didn't take long.
No. So we had a U.S. title tournament match here of Scott Steiner and Chris Jericho. Scott Steiner is very, very strong. Chris Jericho is relatively very small. So we had a very fun display of one slam after another. It was great. I like watching big people destroy small people. Jericho made a comeback, hit a lion salt, tried the lion tamer, but Scott broke free, hit a low blow right in front of the ref, and the Steiner recliner for the win. And this was, in fact, a win.
It wasn't bad. Jericho got heat from this crowd. That was a win.
Yeah.
Almost no one else did.
Cameron walked in and he looks at the TV and he goes, "Who's that?" I said, "That's Scott Steiner." Cameron then goes, "Does he do steroids?"
Craig, you better have answered no. The man has never failed a test. He is a clean athlete with great genetics, just like his brother Rick.
That's correct. Ric Flair versus Rey Mysterio Jr. First of all, Michael Buffer referred to Rey as the master of the Latino Frankensteiner.
Which I thought was German.
Well, hey, that was the finish. So
Was it?
that was a good way to kick this off, yeah.
So, Ric Flair, let's be honest, has one match. He has a few variations of this one match, but it doesn't matter if he's a heel or a babyface, he gets his ass kicked all the goddamn time. If he's a heel, he gets his ass kicked in a bumbling manner, makes these babyface look like a god. If he's a babyface, he gets his ass kicked constantly, but he's still fighting, so you have sympathy for him. But he's in here with Rey Mysterio Jr., who is tiny, so it would not make sense for Flair to be on offense for 80% of this match. I think Ric Flair got more offense in this match than maybe any other match he had in years.
Yeah.
Well, not only that, but he has a few things that he does when he's selling. And usually Flair will just do his match with everybody. Mm-hmm. He went in there and decided, I'm going to do Rey Mysterio's match.
Basically.
I'm going to let him do all of his lucha, and I'm going to take everything. And Ric Flair's a great athlete. He's not the most coordinated guy in the world.
Sure.
Trying to take a lucha arm drag, it's just a mess. He took a springboard X Factor and a top rope Frankenstein, all of these different moves in this match, and it was just man, that's the first time he ever took that move in his life.
Oh, yeah. And probably the last.
Yeah.
So,
this was a match you would see at WrestleMania weekend 2018.
Yes.
Basically.
Somebody's putting
right.
what kind of wacky match could we put together for this super show? Hey, let's do Ric Flair, Rey Mysterio. Nobody could imagine seeing that. Well, here we saw it in 1999.
Yes.
And it wasn't very good.
It was, yeah.
No.
I didn't mind it.
It wasn't bad.
It was not very good.
Yeah. It was a little clunky.
I thought it was a fine Nitro main event. It was nothing.
I'd give it 2.5.
That's fair.
Better than average, nothing special.
It's not very good.
Yeah.
So the best part to me is right before the finish when Flair is sitting on the top rope. I assume he did the flip over spot on the top rope. Anyway, he's sitting on the top rope and Ray drop kicks him. And Flair sells it by leaning back and windmilling his arms and teasing falling for an hour.
Yeah.
He's just going like this over and over and over and over.
Now, before we get to that spot, first, Ray makes a little comeback. Ray makes a little bit of a comeback, and he goes for a spinning wheel kick.
Yes.
And Ric Flair had ducked for some reason, and Ray just flies right over his head. Mm-hmm. And Rick didn't mean to duck. I don't even know why he went down, but Ray just misses him. So Ray jumps up and drop kicks him. Flair cuts him off, and here was the thing. Flair starts to go through the ropes because he's going to climb up on top because he expected to be thrown off. But he's halfway through the ropes and he remembers, oh shit. So he climbs back in and starts climbing up from the inside, which Ric Flair never does.
No.
And so Ray drop kicks his knee as he's sitting on the top rope. And that's when Flair does whoa, I may fall into the water right here.
Like your chair was about to give out.
Yep.
So, as Flair is windmilling his arms, Ray jumps up there, hits a top rope Rana. No one died. And the ref counts 1 and 2, and then Arn Anderson yanks the referee out of the ring.
Back when that was a DQ.
Yeah. And the ref, who is Charles Robinson, who is Ric Flair's buddy now, calls the DQ, so Ray wins. And then...
Let me explain how this is set up first. This saved the show. I won't lie. You know how I am with water. Before Ric Flair goes into the water, they only have a few seconds left.
This is the key. They were in a hurry.
So Flair rolls out of the ring, and I can't remember what happened. Arn got involved earlier. Arn actually took a bump with his bad neck outside. So all you need to know is that Flair goes outside, and he leans against the metal barricade, and he puts his hands up on it, and he kind of just stretches up tall. And then he gets back in the ring to the spot. Because he went out there to make sure that he was going to get over that barricade before he went through with it.
Yes.
So then after he went like this to make sure he could do it, he goes back in, Ray drop kicks him, and then Flair does a big backwards bump over the thing and lands in the way. Everybody goes crazy. Go to blank.
It was that fast.
They had like 6 seconds to spare.
I was like, you can't show Ric Flair selling in the water.
No.
Like, the bump is part of it, but the selling of the water, that's the main thing we're looking for here. Yeah. What can you do?
Brian, my music, please.
I'm just so disgusted. Here we go.
The finishes on this show were 5 clean pins in a row, pin after he's shoved by Stevie Ray, DQ due to belt usage, submission after a low blow, and DQ due to yanking the referee out of the ring.
Man. Excellent.
The Raw one will be more involved.
Sure will. Holy smokes.
So yeah, that was Nitro Club Lavella.
Yeah, it sucked. Bad show. Depressing.